100.
Welcome to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Sunday afternoon. Here we are, folks. Week 5, high school football starting to heat up. Some big ball games over the last few weeks. You know, that Bigsby Jinx game is more of like an arena football game, high-scoring game. But Bigsby is who Bigsby are. Like my man Green would say, they are who we thought they are. And they are the real deal. You know, I mean, even though Jinx got one of the best running backs in the state in Jones, but not enough to slow down Bigsby's the number one team. I think they're ranked number one team in the nation, if I'm understanding right. But hey, I'll tell you, I said this earlier. Whoever won that game is not going to win state. So I think Bigsby won the head-to-head game. But I think Jinx will win they have to play each other in the state championship. I think Jinx get them. I think Jinx is a very, very, very good team. Had the lead on them, but just couldn't keep it. So, but Bigsby is a machine. I mean, they go and go and go. They don't slow down. So, I think that's one of the things about them. They're one of the top teams in the state, ranked in the nation. So there's a reason why. And, you look at it, they just keep winning. They went from 6A 2 all the way up to 6A 1, and nothing's changed. I mean, they don't stop. The train don't stop. But we have a special guest on today. We're going to have Harrah's head football coach, Chris Blink, talk about what the Harrah Panthers are doing. Right now, they're sitting at 3-2. They got a couple of tough games coming up. They got to find a way to get in the playoffs, folks. It's something that, we talk about every week. Getting to the playoffs. The district games is very important. We could talk about, the non-conference game, kind of get you ready, but, they took a tough loss to Blanchard. A game I wanted them to really win, that kind of put them in the driver's seat. And we'll talk more about that when he comes on. But like I said, he'll be our special day, the head coach over at Chris Blink. They're doing some good things. Brock, Day, and some of the other guys. We'll talk about some of those guys. I know Brock's almost to 700 yards rushing. Young man that I get to see a lot. I train and work with. So a little bit biased there. I do like the kid. But he's a great kid, not just a great football player, but just a 4.0 GPA. Just a young spoken man. Comes from a good family. Daddy kind of wild, but we won't hold that against because mom's a good person. Just kidding. But we'll talk about what Harrah's doing and see if they can get that curse off the back and get into the playoffs. You can see I got them on the back. They on top of the fireplace, folks. See them in the Jones Longhorns. Big win for Jones over Millwood. And like I said, when we start going over the classes, we'll get to that and then talk about the big win for Jones Longhorns over Millwood. And Millwood's been kind of the nemesis the last few years. It's kind of kept them out from being that number one seed. And don't get me wrong, because they still got a couple tough games. They still got Chisholm left, and they got the Christian school OC. I think it's OCS or whatever, which one it is. And they still got the surprising team in 2A. J.D. Reynolds, what he's doing over there with Mount St. Mary. I'm telling you right now, he got those guys rocking and rolling. My son went to the game on Friday night. And they just kind of beat up on Chisholm. Tom George is a great offensive coordinator, great mind, does a QB impact. He's had a son. I mean, he was on Jones' staff when they won the state championship. Got a little bit of controversy going over there, folks. I don't know what's really going on, rumors, but I don't want to say nothing because somebody might say I said something and go turn me into somebody. You know how that stuff works. But the show is called Keep It 100, and my job is to keep it 100. Not talk bad about kids, but hey, give you the truth about what's going on. But like I said, we're going to get this party started. We're going to start off with 6A. Some of the scores. You had a Wausau over Union. Union right now is Coach Antonio is having a tough time. He's getting beat by his old team that he took to the state championship last year. Easy could have won the state championship, lost it down on the 1 yard line. He goes back home to Union. He gets beat 49-15. It's just a tough time right now for Antonio. They don't have the kids. Wausau is a team that's always going to be good. It's always going to have kids. But right now, Union is on a struggle bus. But if there's anybody to get him turned around, it's Antonio. He's been there. He goes and plays his old boss, Blankenship. That's, kind of like a big brother, father figure to him. So hopefully he'll get it turned around. But right now, Union's kind of struggling. They're one of the top teams. Then you got Norman North losing. They lost a tough game, earlier this year to Norman. But now, I mean, they're they are on a roll. Thought they was gonna get beat a week ago by to Edmond Memorial. Edmond Memorial was sitting undefeated. I don't know what happened to Meredith. They kind of lost at the very end. They lost a tough game to Edmond Memorial. I think that game was, it was at Norman North, and Edmond Memorial was a close game, first district game, real close game, but Norman came back to beat them. And then, Memorial is, they're doing good things over there with Justin. They got one loss. They got a big win over the weekend. Over the week, I think they beat up on Westmore, who still hasn't won a game yet. Lose a coach at the beginning of the year, Coach White. Did name a new head coach, but he hasn't got to figure out a bunch of the coaching that was there with White has left and went on and done different things. So they're kind of on the struggle bus over Westmore. I don't know if they can win a game, folks. I'll be keeping 100 with you. I don't know if they can win a game just because of the simple fact, they're about to get on that turnpike and start playing all those Tulsa teams. And when you go up there and play them, it's a little bit of a drive, and it's tougher. It's tougher on that side of the state. That's why the state championship comes from that side, pretty much on the 6A side. It comes from that side. So I don't know if Westmore can get it turned around and get a ball game this year. I know it'd be bad to be your senior year and you go 0-10. It's not something you want to talk about when you come back for your reunion. But hopefully they get a win this year. Got BA over UConn. UConn gets beat by Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow doing some good games. I think they're 2-2 right now. They beat up on UConn. UConn has done some things. They lost to Mustang, and like I said, they got beat this over the weekend, 42-14. It's a tough loss. But like I said, UConn is doing some good things, not just in football. They're trying to do good things in girls and boys basketball. So they're trying to get the stuff turned around over there at UConn. Great facilities. So you'll keep seeing them rise, doing their thing. You got Jinx bounce back from that tough loss, against Bigsby. They come back and beat up on Norman, beat them 44-0. And Norman's a team that that beat Norman North earlier this year. So sometimes you think these teams are contenders, and you start seeing them playing against other teams that like I said, when you go to that turnpike, it's a whole different breed. So, but like I said, Jinx get back on the winning streak. Beating up on Norman after they got beat a week before by Bigsby. And like I said, that game was a high-scoring game. I think at the end, Bigsby kind of shut them down the second half and took control of the game. But like I said, Bigsby is the real deal. Like I said, you got Edmond Memorial over Edmond Santa Fe, 28-0. Like I said, they had a tough loss against Norman North. Edmond Memorial did. I know Justin to get them back going, but just a tough loss. Winning the whole ball game. I think it came down to a 1-point game. So that's a tough one to lose, but hey, I tell people when you lose, you learn from it. You don't make the same mistakes that you made before. And I know Justin being a great coach, he won't make those same mistakes. So looking forward to seeing what the Edmond Memorial. I'm really proud of this program because it was kind of in the dumps a little bit. Edmond Santa Fe has always been kind of the team, and kids was probably going there, and I think they decided to kind of stay at home at Edmond Memorial. So like what Justin guy's doing, what he's doing over there. They should make the playoffs again this year. New quarterback, but he still is same system. Still got it going on. Then you got Mustang, just beat up on Enid. It was 75-0, folks. That's with a running clock. Could easily scored 100. Mustang. I don't even know if O'Neill's back yet. Jaden O'Neill's the top quarterback that came here from California. Came to Mustang because he's committed to go to OU. He decommitted from OU. Now he's going to Florida State, kind of where Sperry's at. And Florida State, got beat up a little bit last night. So, they might need a quarterback next year. So, but like I said, I don't know if O'Neill's back. If anybody knows, please DM me. I looked at the stats. I didn't really see no stats on him. Like for the first couple of games, I think that's when he got hurt. So I don't know who's running the show over there at QB. If anybody know, please shoot out to me and let me know because I would love to see what's going on at Mustang, man. I might need to make my way out there. Like I said, last Friday night, I got the chance to go watch Millwood and Jones. Great ball game from Jones' part, not Millwood's side, but Millwood, they're young. They're young. They lost 5 or 6 guys that went over and played at PC. That's why PC got the win over Choctaw. So somebody told me this morning, they called me and said, well, Millwood's first team is over at PC, so that's why Choctaw got beat by them. So I thought it was kind of funny, but hey, that's happening everywhere. You can't just talk about them; it's happening everywhere. So, but like I said, big time, big win for like Jones. We'll get to them when I get down in their class. But then you had Bigsby all over Moore, 81-6. Man, it's just like, man. I mean, what do you think? What do you tell your team after a game like that? What do you say? What do you tell them? Like, hey, man, I mean, how do we stop giving up 81 points? If we had to face them again in the playoffs or something, it's a tough gig. So I don't know. I mean, Bigsby just like that, man. They're just built different. They are really built different. Let's go to 682. PC over Choctaw, big win for Coach Willis. Big time win for him. It was at the end, I mean, PC's up by 28-27. 20, what was it? 20. What was the final score? 28-27. Choctaw comes down. It's like 3rd and 15, 20. Hit a long pass play, get all the way down, end up scoring. Bobbled a extra point, which I'm really shocked on Jake. Jake usually goes for a 2 right there, and at that point to go and put the game away. I mean, when you got a 6'6" tight end, you throw it up to him, and go and put the game away, not put in the kicker's foot. And that's what happened. That the bobble snap was bobbled. The kicker didn't get a chance to kick; it was just bobbled, and PC picked it up and did his thing. But PC got some players though. They got the quarterback that came over from Millwood, Turner Ball. He was 6 for 13, 115 yards, 1 rushing TD. Salone had 19 carries for 137 and 1 TD. And then Turner Ball had 22 carries for 62 yards in the TD. So those are your 2 big factors for the PCO. They're sitting in a great spot. Should be could be a 1 or 2 seed going into the playoffs. They got a chance to win that district. Kind of put Choctaw in shambles a little bit. Team that's won the state championship last year. They do start a different quarterback, but he's been there. It's not like he played as when he's a freshman, he came in, and then you had the Williams kid. They kind of both split time, and when Williams is hurt, he played. So it's not like he doesn't know, but they got a big time running back. Just got an offer to Air Force, I think, major. So they got the guys over there. Defense supposed to be stout. With Green, got a couple guys that got some D1 offers on that defensive side of the ball. PC was just a better team. So and it happens, man. I mean, when Choctaw's kind of had it. I think they got 3 losses this year. They got to the Kansas team, Bigsby. Then you lose this game. So Jake's sitting at 2-3 right now. But he'll get a turnaround. That's what he does over there with the Standard. So hopefully they get that turnaround, get them going. Then you go down to Shawnee, my man Shawnee gets the win over Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Everybody used to be scared of you. Say Booker T. Everybody used to be. It's kind of like Halloween. Everybody would go, ooh. I don't know no more. Robert beat up on Booker T. So I guess what he said, I'm going to take what my old boss did, Robert Jones from Dell City, and do the same format with Shawnee. Because Robert beat up on Booker T, then Shawnee beat up on Booker T. Big win for him. Big Coach Madonna, big win for you, sir. Probably one of your biggest wins that you got since been a head coach, second year head coach. Big win, like I said. I think it was 34-7. I think that's the score. I might be wrong, but Jason Madonna, he's sitting at 3-2 in district. Shawnee is led by Braylon Lester. This kid's a QB, but he can run and throw. He ran for over, what did he run for? 223 and threw for 177 with 4 touchdowns. The kid's a real deal. He's a real deal. I haven't got a chance to see him play in person. Saw some highlights I watched of him. I'm just telling you right now, he could be one of the top players in the state, and so can the kid from Duncan, Rice. Going to talk about him. I'm having him on the show, man. His dad kind of reaches out to me each week and give me his stats. And so this kid is Rice kid, man, for Duncan. He can do it all. Plays safety, running back, receiver. He's getting recruited by several different schools, and I can see why. The kid is just an athlete. He's playing quarterback, but he could probably go play running back and go play receiver, go play DB. So we'll get a chance to talk to him. They'll play Midwest City. Here in a few weeks. And so I might get a chance to see him then because my son is coaching over at Midwest City. But the Rice kid, but like I said, the Shawnee and Rice kids, 2 kids that, a lot of people's probably not talking about. I'm telling you, this kid from Shawnee, you're gonna hear about him. Lester, the things he's doing, man. I saw a video that he just takes off and he leads everybody. And he's a He's an athletic quarterback. I mean, he can jump and throw. I mean, the things he's doing is pretty amazing for a high school kid. He's probably college ready already. You know, wherever they put him at, just a pure phenomenal athlete. So I mean, and say that's come from Oklahoma. We've had a bunch of good athletes that's come through this state, but this kid's right there. He's at the top. I don't know what grade he's in, but you'll start hearing more about his name. He's Shawnee QB. Like I said, I think it's Brandon Lester. So big game for him beating Booker T. That's a big time win. Big time win for the program. Big time win for Shawnee Wolves and Coach Madonna. Congratulations to those guys on what they did Friday night against Booker T. Move on down a little bit. You got Newcastle all over my Bombers, man. Poor day, man. 51-0. But Coach Washington. I mean, they're young. I got a chance to talk to them a couple weeks ago at the softball game, and they're just young. I mean, you got guys that's never played football, and that's like trying to teach a kid, newborn baby how to walk, and so they might look great, but they don't have all the IQ of football, because if you're a guy that's played basketball or baseball your life and you come out there, football's a different ball game. How to tackle, you got to put your head the right way and turn your hips the right way when you're covering. So do I think Washington can get it turned around? Yes, I do. It's going to take some time, folks. It's not going to happen. I know I saw Mr. Crawford. Was like, man, the Bombers have felt, because I was a Bomber, folks. I was a black and gold ranked on the team with Cale Gundy and Drew and them guys. And we were ranked number 2. I mean, you got guys like myself, AJ Hinch. We didn't get to play to our senior year because we had so many studs in front of us. Now these kids are starting. You wouldn't have done that back in the day. I mean, that's just being real. You wouldn't have done that in back of the day because of just where you're sitting at, with the athletes that we had, and believe me, you had the transfer portal back then because we had a guy named Donald McDonald came in from Ohio, played linebacker for us, and he ended up leaving. So it happens at every school, and it happens every day. So don't think, hey, this is something that's just happening now. It happens all the time. So it's been going on for a long time. But the Bombers, tough loss against Newcastle. Shout out to my boy Marcus Wade and them out there. I don't know how much the son got to do, but I'll find out Monday morning. I talk to him, but big win. I'm pretty sure his son got some game. Big time shutout for the defense out there in Newcastle. Bo Bradshaw, Carl Albert graduate, played at OBU. So good job with him and his team out there. Then you're looking at Duncan. Like I said, Duncan snapped Southeast winning streak. Snapped it. Click. Just clicked it, and that's what happens, folks. And Southeast is a team that I'm telling you right now, I got a chance to watch them on TV against the Bombers, man, and they got some dudes. they got some dudes. I mean, they really do. They really got some top-notch dudes, and it's going to be really interesting to see, how they finish up this year. But Southeast do got some good dudes, so it'd be interesting to see. But Duncan knocks them off, and my man Rice, I think he had 4 touchdowns that game. Led by Rice, premier athlete. He's 6'1", 205. I'm sorry, 6'1", 201. He's getting a lot of different looks from D1 colleges. When you can run and throw, like I said, he's just a true athlete, and so you got to go get guys like that. He's the type of guy you go put at free safety because he can run and he can. He's just an athlete, so he can cover sideline to sideline. So that makes a big difference when you got a man like that. So he'll get a big time offer. I know he's down at Wake Forest, and I think North Texas is looking at him, and you got to give some shout out to North Texas. With the Hawkins young man for North Rock Creek is doing his thing over there, man, and they're playing great ball. They're gonna probably be bowl eligible. Can't say that about Oklahoma State, but you can say that about North Texas. But this is what happens. You start getting these kids kids that's not playing at a big time Division I, and they say, man, I'm gonna go down here to this smaller D1, and guess what? They're on the field. They're making a name for themselves. Scouts are looking at them. Got a chance to go to you still can go to the playoffs because they take the some of the small conference teams and get a chance to get one of them in. So North Texas rocking and rolling right now. So wouldn't be surprised if they didn't get in. I wouldn't be surprised. But shout out to, like I said, my man Rice over at Duncan, knocking off Southeast. But great job with Southeast, though. I think they still got a good chance to get in the playoffs. I love to see them get in there. And they got some athletes too, though. So they got some good size. So look and see what they end up doing here the next few weeks, finishing out district play. Then you got Guthrie over Noble, 63-20. Only loss that Guthrie has this year so far is to the Tuttle. And Tuttle's beating everybody, so you can't, hold your head down on that. But like I told you, folks, I think that Guthrie, listen to me, I think that Guthrie, and Carl Albert game be for the district championship. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think that's what's going to happen. All the fans are going to be applauding for it because it's going to be a good game. Two great teams going at it. Here on Halloween, what is that? October 31st, be at Carl Albert Stadium, and it should be a good game. Carl Albert's right now is undefeated. Looking good. Just beat up on El Reno, Elijah, Collier, both doing their things. Webster, defense. I mean, everybody, LeBron, all those guys are doing their thing over at CA, man. Somebody said, man, the news guy said it the other day. Different names, but same results. And that's true, and that's what happens, man. These guys wait their turn and they get their turn. And guess what? I'm going to show you what I can do too. So, Carl Albert got it going on, like I said, but Guthrie, you can't knock them. You can't fall them short because it's a rival game. It's going to be a tough game. Weather get a little bit chilly. The ball, you hold the ball a little bit different when it comes that way. So looking forward to seeing that game, Guthrie, and then Carl Albert, like I said, on Halloween. And then you, but like I said, for you Carl Albert family parents, get your Beat Guthrie T-shirt from the Tip-In Club. Go see one of the boosters, one of the board members, Misty Crawford, Brandon Johnson, Jessica Johnson, Miss Johnson, defensive offensive coordinator's wife, Miss Johnson. So I think it's Melinda. I'm not sure, but go see one of them and get your Guthrie Beat Guthrie T-shirt because you're gonna need them that night because Guthrie's gonna bring. Hey, the whole town gonna shut down and take a charter bus up to Oklahoma to Midwest City and try to beat up on Carl Albert. They want that number one seat because they get that number one seat. They don't have to face Dale City, and it'd be on the opposite side of DC. So I know that's what they're looking for. Last year they thought that, and boy, did Robert put it on them that year. Woo! So they're trying to stay away from that. But they can beat Carl Albert. That put them on the opposite side, and Carl Albert might have to face him before the first second round. So, but like I said, looking forward to that game. Should be a good one. We'll talk about the Carl Albert Titans real quick. Over El Reno, 49-7. Anderson was 15 for 21, 247 yards, 2 TDs. Elijah Matthews, 13 carries for 108 yards, 4 TDs. The kid is playing out ball. I mean, I just can't believe everybody's out offering this young man right now. He is just doing his thing, man. He is. And you got Jeff Webster. He had 6 catches for 87 yards, 1 TD, and Marcus Evans, 3 catches for 88 yards and 1 TD. Just so many different weapons, folks. It's coming from all over. I mean, it's just coming from all over. When you think you're going to stop Elijah, boom, here comes Webster. When you think you're going to stop Webster, boom, here comes Evans. So they got so many weapons. Miller, Jake Miller, I think is just a sophomore. Been hearing his name a lot. So they did have a quarterback move out. He took his talents over to the Yellow Jacket land. Wish Friday the best of luck, and hopefully he can figure something out. I don't know if he's going to get to play this year. He might have to play JV because I think this is his 3rd move. But, hate to see a kid move, but you got to do what's best for your kid. So I'm not going to knock it because I've done it, and that's what happens these days. When college kids pack up and leave, guess what? Why can't we do it in high school? And that's where these kids are at. If I'm not going to get to play and you can ask 100 people. I can put a poll up right now and said, who would you start, Anderson or Friday? 50 might say Anderson, 50 might say Friday. But the way I looked at it, it was Anderson's job. He got the nod to become the starter. And I'm gonna be biased on this one. I train Anderson a little bit. He works with me. So my whole goal was, like I told him the last time we trained, it's your job to lose, son. I mean, not take that from Friday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. It's your job, Anderson. So, but I hope he's in a better spot, Friday, and he can go get his thing done and taken care of, and help Tata get back on this where it's at. Because right now they're sitting at 2 and 3, and I think Garrison's a quarterback, and he's a big kid. Maybe put him at tight end. You got 2 big tight ends and Hawk and him. That can open up a lot of different things. I mean, maybe put him on the defense side. I don't know. But like I said, Friday is a good quarterback. I'm not going to take nothing from Friday because I do think he's a good ball player. I just think if he's at any other school, Middale, he's probably starting, I mean, sometimes, folks, parents, you got to look into where you're going to go before you go jump into a school. So, I don't know who gave him direction to go to Carl Albert. You got to give it to Anderson. He waited his turn, and he's doing his thing. He's sitting at 5-0. A lot of people probably doubted him, but I'm a guy that's been around the kid since he's been 7, 8 years old, and his work ethic is far from anybody. If anybody's out working that kid, you tell me one kid that's out working him, and I'll buy you a Frosty, root beer, Diet Zero, whatever they are, Coke or whatever. But I'm just saying the kid works hard. But like I said, good luck to Friday. Good luck to Carl Albert, what they're doing. Like I said, their next probably biggest, toughest game is probably going to be, Guthrie here in a few weeks. But you never know. You got to make sure everybody can stay healthy, grades and all that. But moving on to the next one, Dale City. Get a big scare the week before against Collinsville. Robert Jones, you must have had your rabbit foot in your pocket, my dog. Love you, brother, but you escaped one. I don't know if they didn't play good or what was wrong with them tonight against Collinsville, but they woke up this week and because it snuck out with a winning field goal, 24-21. Congratulations to the field goal kicker for the Dale City Eagles coming down to a field goal. And I got to give it up to Robert. I'm going to give Robert some love because usually Robert don't kick that field goal. He's gonna go for it. So Robert's out. I'm gonna go for it. I ain't gonna put it in this kicker's leg, but he has trust in that kicker. So that's what it's all about, folks. When you got trust in your players and that young man, I'm telling you right now, he probably grinned the whole weekend, having a winning, kick against Collinsville's a good team. They got some players, got a couple good tight ends, quarterback, just a sophomore, threw the ball really well. There's a lot of things Robert could say that he can't say and I can say on the show. Some of the calls were kind of questionable. You're like, man, face mask didn't get called, pass interference to get called. But hey, that's on every play, holders on every play. But Robert bounced back this week, came back and won 75-0 against Memorial. Big time win, keep himself in the driver's seat. He's trying to get that number 1 seat. To try to get to the state championship. I wish they do change a little bit that he can be on one side and Carl Albert can be on one side, but I don't know if it's going to be like that or not. But big win for Dale City bouncing back, especially after that not tough, but close counter they had against with Collinsville, 24-21. But hey, when you're a champion, you find a way to win. 2-1 match, 3-1 match. A win is a win is a win. Yeah. Moving on to 4A, Bethany over Blanchard. Now 4A is going to be tough because when we get into Coach Blink, man, because you got Blanchard beating up on Bethany and Blanchard beat Harris, so it's going to be one of those things that who's going to get in, who's going to get out, might come down to the last couple points. Who gave up more points, less points, all that. So it's going to be really interesting. But we'll talk about that when we can bring Coach Blink on. We'll discuss that here in a little bit. And then you got Harry over to Tecumseh. Harry beat him Tecumseh 49-23. Big game from Brock. And, Brock, I think he had over 200-something yards rushing. Like I said, we'll talk about that. Sitting at 3-2 right now. So we'll talk about that when Coach comes on and talk about what the Harry Panthers are doing. And hopefully they can get that monkey off the back and get in that playoffs is what we want. Playoffs, folks. Playoffs. So hopefully they can get that when we talk about that. Then you had Salazar over Broken Bow, I think. Big time win for them, 40-30. Ardmore over Chickasha, 42-21. Ada over Poto. Two undefeated teams. Two undefeated teams was going in, and then they get the win. Ada get the win. Ada's always one of those tough teams. Back in the day when they had Daniels option quarterback. So Ada's always been a good team. I think they had the record for most state wins and all that. So they get the win over Poto, 49-35. Tuttle, my man, cruise. He's still cruising. Over Medill, 69-0. Elgin over Elk City, 54-7. One of the things I want to ask folks, I know we're going to get a break, then I get to bring on Coach Blink, the Harris head football coach. But one of the things I want to ask, and DM me, put something on the show, on the YouTube channel. What's happened to the high school defense? I see a lot of points given up, a lot of points, a lot of running clock second half, and used to didn't be like that, man. Defense won a championship, and you're just seeing a lot of 80, 60, 70 points, are we not playing kids on both sides of the ball or what? There's just too many points given up in high school football, man, and it's crazy. And it's kind of like that in college a little bit too, but high school is real ridiculous, though. We got to get better, with some of these giving up these points, though. Lincoln Christian, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. So Elgin over Elk City, 54-7, and dropping down to 3A. You got Heritage Hall over Anadarko, 52-14. Seminole stays undefeated. Big win over Bristol. Big ball game right here, 28-24. Great game, folks. Good game right there. Sofer over McLeod's, 60-0. Lincoln Christian. Good team. Lincoln Christian's always playing for that state championship. Over Holland Hall, both teams was undefeated. Christian wins. Both teams is undefeated, folks. You hear me? Both teams undefeated. Lincoln Christian wins the game 62-0. Woo! Both teams undefeated, but Lincoln Christian wins 62-0. Then you drop down to 2A, Metro Christian over Chandler 42-14. Washington over Moretta 55-0. Mount St. Mary, JD. I talked about this a little bit earlier. JD Reynolds is doing his thing over there. This guy's played at OU, played for the Bears. Coach, was assistant strength and conditioning coach over at OU. Did a little bit of work at UCO, East Central, had his own little training facility. So this guy been around football his life. All he knows is football. Football. Then he got Tom George, an offensive mind, a mastermind at the offense, running the show over there, doing a great job. Brought a quarterback in over from Middle City, came over, and doing a great job. I haven't got a chance to see them play live. My son went to the game and said, man, Dad, they're good. And this kid knows a little bit of football. He played it. Was pretty good at it back in his day, but said, Dad, they're good. And so, I'm looking forward to that Jones, and I'm looking towards that Jones. And I know they still got some other games. They still got the Mount St. Mary just knocked off Chisholm, supposed to be a good team. I think they still got OCS, or I don't know which one it is, OCS. Hope it's OCS. They still got them, and like I said, they still got Jones. But I tell you, I will be at that Jones and Mount St. Mary game. It's going to be at Jones. It's not too far. Jones brings it. They bring everybody. They do. I'm going to tell you right now, they bring the whole town, and that's what you're going to get. It's the whole town. It's going to be jumping, bunch of green. It's nice. I like the color green. Green stands for money, but you can see I got them on their helmet back here. They're on the fireplace because, hey, they're undefeated. They're number one in 2A, folks. 2A1, they're number one. And their biggest nemesis has always been Millwood. Knock Millwood off. Knocked them off. Led by quarterback Hanson and Jackson. Two outstanding young men in the backfield. Then they can bring in my man, the bus, and do their thing. I mean, I'm telling you, man, that's going to be a knockdown, drag-out game when they play. Mount St. Mary beat up on Chisholm 62-14. Supposed to be a good team. Now, supposed to be a really, really good team. It's going to come down to them too. I think it's going to come down to Jones and Mount St. Mary for the district championship. And easily could play each other again for the state championship. Depends on how the pennies fall, but I'm looking forward to that game here in a few weeks, though. I will be there. You're talking about a knockdown, drag-out game with two great offensive mind. Coach Darrell over at Jones, man. I love his play calling the other night. I thought he opened it up when he needed to. He ran the ball when he needed to. Quarterback Hanson is a playmaker, folks. He's a playmaker. The kid is quick. Kid can go. Jackson, the running back that came over from Dale City, is a great ball player himself. I tell you, he's about 5 to 10 pounds away from being he could be a D1 running back. Got some good speed. And this is the thing about Jones. They lose a quarterback, but they got a freshman that's coming up. It's supposed to be a big time. They're talking about him. Supposed to be big time, and I mean, the offensive line here, I'm going to name some of these guys off for you, man. QB is Hanson. Running back is, like I said, Jackson. O-line is led by up there with the big boys up the top. You got Ty Durham, Jack, I don't know his last name, Mirandos, Dom Harris, young man called Biscuit. Don't know who Biscuit is, but they call him Biscuit. Omar. Defense is led by my man Luke Luke. I think Luke's getting some looks from Luke. Plays a little bit in the backfield, but he's a man on defense, along with Big Mike 72, Jesse Hernandez that came in, moved in, free safety Drew Thomas, and my boys, my twins, the Templeton boys. Good job the other night. Missed one little tackle. Got to get a little bit more physical on that. We'll talk about that when I get a chance to talk to them. But you're talking about some big-time players here, folks. Big-time players make big-time moves, big-time plays. And that's what you're going to get when you got that Jones and when you get that Jones and Mount St. Mary game. You're going to get that. You're going to get a lot of big-time plays, a lot of big-time players, and all that. But like I said, Hanson kid, I don't know what he can play in college. He could probably play quarterback, but he's just an athlete too. I think you can put him at free safety, and he can do a lot of things. He's kind of he can move. I mean, he broke one probably 60, 70 yards. The Jackson kid, it's a good little running back. When he gets going, he gets going. Then they got another little running back, man, a little tiny dude. And he played for me, and he's in 6th grade. Can't even think of his name right now. But just they got some guys, dude. They got some good receivers. I'd probably hold the team and do some Jose. Jose's his name. Jose is a good little running back, just a sophomore. The Jackson guy's a little bit better, a little bit bigger. Jose just a little bit shiftier, but he runs hard. He runs hard for his size. So Jones got it going over there. Coach Witt and the crew, man, they got it going over there. But big shout out to Coach Darrell. Play call was excellent. I mean, I think it was on point. Did everything that you could do to make everything on point. But good job with those guys, man. Like I said, folks, here in a couple of weeks, you catch that Jones at Mount St. Mary game. Should be a good game. Out here right up the street from me. I'll be there. I'm looking forward to it. Shout out to my man, Coach Glenn. Again, Bethel gets a win over Hugo, 28 to 26. Coach Glenn is sitting undefeated, I think. So great job to him and his team, man. And I'm looking forward to see what he can do, man. Got back on a winning streak. Then we go to 2A2. Got Vian over Antlers, 42-8. Dibble over Community Christian, 48-7. Holdenville over Chishomingo, 66-13. Stroud over Minker, 54-8. And then that's all I deal on the 6A. The 2A2. Like I said, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to bring Coach Blink back with the Hara Panthers, sitting at 3-2. Looking to find a way to get into that playoffs this year. Playoffs is where I want to see my Hara Panthers do playoffs. But like I said, we'll take a quick break after one of our sponsors. Keep it 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Sunday afternoon, folks. Sunday afternoon. Right back.
The gang's the same, but we changed the name, and we're now Chaos Customs OKC. Still your one-stop shop for all your vehicle upfitting and accessory needs. With almost 30 years in the business, we're your go-to for lift kits, wheels, tires, spray liners, bed covers, leather, fleet solutions, and so much more. Give us a call today at 405-778-8878.
Welcome back to Keeping 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Sunday afternoon, folks, as we got this show jumping and rocking and rolling. We're going to have a special guest, Harris, head football coach, in a second. We're going to talk a little bit 4A football. The Hara Panthers coach Blink, will be bringing home here in a second. But, folks, like I said, we got a lot going on, man. High school football is heating up. We're at a certain spot. I mean, it's going good. Teams is, there's some teams winning, some teams losing. But, like I said, 4A is really tight. I know Coach Blink is a guy I love to talk to. He'll break it down. He's going to break it down what his team got to do to get into the playoffs. Something I'm wishing. Love these guys. Got a chance to work with a lot of these guys. So I'm looking forward to having some of these guys get to that next round. It's all it's about, man. Getting to that week 10. Week 11. I'm sorry, week 10. And he'll have a big game against some Tuttle Tigers. But hey, he's always up for the challenge. But like I said, we're gonna bring him on here in a second. My man, Coach Blink. Give me 1 second, folks. Here we are. Welcome, Coach Blink, to the show. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Coach, it's always a pleasure to have you on, man. I love to hear you talk, man. I'm telling you, when you get out of football, you can become a talker, speaker. You can go around and talk to different schools and tell them what it's all about. But, Coach, like I said, I know Hara got it going on right now. You guys are sitting at 3-2. Tough loss against Seminole and a tough loss against Blanchard. But I know you guys came back this week against the Tecumseh, went on the road against the Tecumseh, and got a good win against them. What was the final score? Was it 49-33 or something like that? 49-23?
49-23.
49-23. But Coach, right now, you come in with a new quarterback. Your quarterback leaves, he goes off and go plays college baseball. You come in with some new backs, in Brock Day, and then you got Cal at the quarterback. But these two young guys, man, they're getting their first true start on the offensive side of the ball, and both are doing some good things. I think Brock is close up to 700 yards in rushing, and then Cal is doing his thing. He's a dual threat from the throwing the ball and running the ball. So it's kind of a two-headed monster back there. I kind of said earlier when we did your media day, it's kind of like thunder and lightning with those two back there. And watching Brock's run the other night, probably one of the best runs I've seen. I mean, that needs to be all over. I don't know why it's not over Twitter right now. And I kind of told him that last night. His dad sent that to me. This kid has worked hard, man. I mean, he's texted me already talking about we working out today. And I'm thinking, Brock, I got to do the show with Coach first. Then I can get to you. Not taking on from Brock. But this kid has worked hard, and Kyle's worked hard. And this is the type of guys you want in your program, guys like that. So, break it down a little bit how the offense is going.
Yeah, I mean, they're two dynamic players. I'll start with Cal. I mean, he's a true dual threat guy. I don't think he gets enough credit for his ability to throw the ball. His deep ball is just as good as anybody that I've ever coached. And you've seen that. You see a lot of his highlights, and it is a lot of deep balls and stuff. Cal's still young. I mean, he's just a sophomore, so he's at 19 touchdowns, after week 5. So he's doing a tremendous job. Great leader, unbelievable work ethic, and he is going to be a special player. He already is, but he's going to be he's just going to be unbelievable as the years go by and stuff like that. So keep your name on him. And like I said, he's just a sophomore. Brock is doing a great job. Always a chance for him to go for 200. Me and him talk about that a lot, and definitely saw something in week 5 from him that we've been looking for as far as mentality and attitude kind of going into that game. And then he's always a second half guy. So we tell everybody going into halftime, hey, Brock's best 2 quarters are coming up, and that's anybody and everybody we play. So, and so it just, you don't like to tackle that kid. He's a buck 90, buck 95, and he's, like I said, he wants to be, he wants to be, and you were talking about that highlight going around. It's he breaks about 3 tackles, does a spin move, and then walks into the end zone. I mean, it's pretty special. So both those guys been doing great. I know after the game, Coach Lowe at Tecumseh, he said, I always have a lot of respect for anybody being a head coach, but some of these guys in our district. And he said, man, we thought you guys were pretty good up front, but we didn't know you was that good up front. So
Yes,
if that
sir.
tells you anything, Cal and Brock got 5 guys. They started all 5 games. They've been doing a tremendous job up front, just physically, schematically, and in practice and stuff. Super proud of those guys.
Yeah, Coach, like I said, when you talk about your offensive line, you got some guys as, some new starters, but it starts up front. Brock and Cal cannot do nothing without those guys up front just getting it, open up holes and giving him time to throw the ball. Like I said, a lot of deep balls. But like I said, this kid has only got, 5 starts. He's just a sophomore. He played a little bit as a freshman, not much QB, but just he's just an athlete. He's a guy that you can put everywhere. And Brock's a guy that, when he gets, when he does get recruited, he's probably going to be a guy that's probably going to play on the defensive side of the ball, or he might be a guy that plays H-back, but he's proven himself that he is becoming into a running back. A lot of things that we worked on, and Coach, from year 1 to this year, he was real stiff. The guy was like stiff it was hard. And, one thing I've kind of worked on him a lot is jump cuts, granted, just trying to run over somebody all the time. You got to be able to get, save that body for 4 quarters. Like you said, his last 2 quarters has been really good, and he's running strong, and he's worked on the speed. He got himself in track this year, and, he's a good wrestler. So he's done a lot of good things to help himself get better. But I think his speed has really helped a lot now. Like you said, you don't want to tackle a guy in open field, but now it's even hard to try to catch the guy when he does get an open field. So I'm looking forward to see what these guys can do. I know district is tough. You got some tough games coming up. You still got Chickasha, Bethany, Medill, Ardmore, and Tuttle. And as well as I know, you got to probably at least try to win 3 of those to get one of those top 3 seats, because Tuttle's probably going to finish number 1 seat, man, what they got over there. And it's nothing bad, but, Tuttle's got it going on. They got a 3-year starting quarterback and Cruz, a guy that's is probably getting recruited by a lot of different schools, and just a great athletes. And they got a lot of big boys. And when you got that kind of Tuttle money and the Richardson money out there, you can do a lot of things. Not hating, because that's what it's all about now. That's what these kids want to go to. So these kids are not playing at some of the schools around them. When you can go get Blanchard's best player or Bridge Creek, and here you got Carl Albert around, you got Midwest City, you got Bethel that's doing good, you got Shawnee, you got Choctaw. I mean, you got a lot of different schools around you that's all winning over here too. So, and you're doing a great job with the kids you're getting, and that's one of the questions I'm going to ask you down the road is like, what do you see here in 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, we're growing tremendously. As far as that's one thing that's been brought up a lot, even within our district and some of our bond proposals and stuff like that. Is the we're growing. It's going to get bigger. I think they said they had something like 1,500 to 2,000 new residencies going up in the next year. Obviously, it's a small town and so as it grows, we still want to keep some of those roots as far as being able to feel like we're a small town, but we're getting bigger. We're bleeding over to OKC. You're seeing a lot of people that are commuting to work to Tinker or to OKC that are coming here because you still get that country feel and everything like that. Good facilities. And then we just continue to look to put, good teachers, coaches, administrators around the kids and create a good experience for them. And then, what do you got right now? And, you talk about, kind of our football team right now. We're navigating things just as many of the other football teams are as far as injuries, putting things together. And, I think, in this time, everybody's looking around, making sure they're where they want to be at and utilizing all the things that that they have access to, whether it be facilities, coaches, all of those things.
Yes, sir. So let's take a quick look at the standings, and we'll start talking about a little bit about your defense. Right now in your standings, you got Tuttle sitting at 2-0 in district. You got Bethany sitting at 2-0. Blanchard 1-1. Harris 1-1. So right now you guys are sitting at the number 4 spot. And that's where you want to be. You want to be in those top 4 to get into. Then you got the Tecumseh team you just knocked off. You still got Ardmore, Chickasha, Medill. How do you feel about your chances, in of getting one of these spots?
Yeah, I think the older I get and longer I do this, the less I look too far ahead. We want to go 1-0 in practice.
Yes,
we want to win this week. We got to beat Chickasha before we do anything else. I know they're 0-5. I think probably the best 0-5 team that I've ever scouted or broke down.
Mm-hmm.
They're young as we are, and I think that's a variable that you don't necessarily take into account sometimes on paper. We don't have very many seniors. We don't have kids with a lot of experience. We're kind of growing and learning through this season. And so, like I said, you dynamically, we change up a few things here and there and then put the pieces of the puzzle together with who we have and what we have. And, this week's homecoming, so we'll see if that can be an advantage or a disadvantage. And our kids are just learning to deal with the adversity, conflict, and just believing in themselves, giving themselves a shot, every game that we have. So looking ahead, not entirely concerned with a lot of what else is going on. Just, again, even on a Sunday, we've got a game plan and win that part of it and then get our kids motivated and get them excited about this opportunity. And I do think we have the kids to be able to make the playoffs and win some games maybe that we shouldn't on paper, though.
Yes, sir. You talk about this week being homecoming. That's one of the coaches. If you talk to probably any high school coach, it makes his heart beat fast. Just because of the simple fact was all the stuff that's going around with the parade, the candy, the atmosphere. It can be an attraction to the game and trying to keep the kids focused for Friday night because there's so much stuff going on with the pep assembly and all that. How do you feel about homecoming?
Different places, different kids, different results from that. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Football is special in Oklahoma and high school sports, man. And so anytime we can bring people together and celebrate kind of some of that stuff, it adds a couple more evenings to the week, or maybe, an extra hour of planning things in the morning or afternoon.
Yes,
but anytime we can celebrate these kids and their accomplishments and in football season, I think the weather's going to be a little bit better later this week. And there's a lot of great events going on. We continue to try to make it a special for these kids. And so I think our kids will be okay. But, between me and you, I feel like we've been in some games or competed or done some things against teams maybe we shouldn't have because we were their homecoming, And so it takes a level of maturity to kind of be able to take it all in and deal with it and then get focused, 15 minutes later to play a football game.
But coach, let's talk about this defense side of the ball. They've done some good stuff. Even that Seminole game, that game could have went either way. I know Seminole ended up pulling it off, but they have a great quarterback. That's been there for a few years, and he has some brothers that played there. And Seminole, if you look at them, coach, are sitting at 4-0 in their class, so it kind of tells you, where they're at and what they're doing. So it's not like you lost to a bad team, and then you just had didn't Blanchard just beat Bethany, or was it vice versa? Or
vice versa.
Yeah, so Bethany beat Blanchard. I mean, so, and everybody think Bethany's down because they lost a lot of kids that ended up going over to Mustang. But that's why you got to go play every Friday night, put on the helmets and the shoes and the gloves and strap up and go get after. So let's talk about some of the guys on the defense side of the ball that's kind of leading the way. I know you talked about Isaiah Osborne and, to 5 games, he already has 50 tackles a game, coach.
Yeah, Isaiah is pretty special. He's one of those kids just likes to be physical and has a knack for the ball. We have a lot of kids that have been contributing on that side of the ball. I'll get back to the defense real quick. We played Seminole. They're 5-0.
Oh, 5-0. I'm sorry, my fault.
Mike Snyder does an unbelievable job there. Got some great assistant coaches and stuff. And so, that game, we went at halftime 14-14. These kids, they are capable definitely of winning some tight games. And you talk about our district. I think there's some games or some moments that may be that could shift a little bit of the standings. And so I think a lot of us are pretty close to being at the same level.
Yes,
and
sir.
So you might see that later in the season. And hopefully we're on the right side of some of those. But defensively, I know Gavin Morgan, he plays both ways for us. He's an offensive lineman. He plays outside linebacker. He's been doing phenomenal. He's close to 50 tackles on the year and just high football IQ. And then Braylon Flowers, he's a defensive end and also plays guard for us. You'll see him a lot on our highlights on both sides of the ball because he's usually paving the way for Brock or Cal. And then on defense, he's usually the one applying pressure, making plays in the backfield. So pretty proud of those two kids. And then really just navigating the injuries. We've had a few kids that have had to step into some roles week to week. I know Cal, he started at safety 1 week, and then he played a tremendous amount of snaps at outside linebacker last night or Friday night. And then, Brock's been playing a ton of defense and just trying to get the best 11 on the field.
Yes, sir.
And then I know Friday night, Easton Coronado, he had, we thought a big matchup for Tecumseh was they've got some pretty good receivers on the outside, and they threw some deep balls on us early in that game, and he ended up in the first quarter with 2 interceptions. And so, for that kid to kind of step up, going through everything he's gone through, and he's just been a great asset to our team this year.
Now, he came up from McLeod. Is he a junior or senior, coach?
He's just a junior. We don't have very many seniors. So Isaiah's a senior. Brody Penny starts at nose guard for us. He's a senior. And then we have a defensive lineman, Colton Avalos, that also starts. And then Cobb plays in the secondary some. So, like I said, this is still a young team, not a lot of starting experience.
Yes, sir.
And been through some of these dynamics. I think that's what got us to Blanchard a little bit. I thought we were a lot closer to Blanchard as far as being able to play with them. And you saw that some in the second half, but the first half, little bit nervous, intimidated, big game on the road and stuff. And so we've got to be able to get over that mentally to be able to give ourselves a chance in a 4-quarter game against some of those teams.
Yeah, it seems like your secondary is starting to come around. I know you got you talk about the Easton young man, and you talk about, I guess they call him Big Moose. I mean, Big Moose is out there, doing his things, man. I know this guy's that went to a lot of different camps and, starting to get some little bit of looks from colleges. I know his dad is really proud of him, man. So I got to give Shane some love because, he talks about his boy, which as you should as a parent, man. You brag on your kids when they're out there doing good things, but it seems like Moose is handling. I know he's going against some top receivers that you guys face because, when you're facing teams like a Tuttle and you're facing like a Blanchard, Bethany, these guys got top receivers, top tight ends. I think Blanchard got one of the top tight ends in the States. I think it's his dad played at OU. So you're looking at a kid that, knows how to run routes and all that. And a big kid, I think he's standing like between 6'5", 6'6". This is Brady, I think is his name. I think that's his name right offhand. I'm not sure. I don't know the roster. It's not in front of me. But, when you go in against Tuttle and some of these teams, your secondary got to be ready because, it ain't just a lot of run-happy teams here in the 4A. In the 4A, they're throwing the ball around. So, and that's good to get your secondary those looks. And plus, they get to face a guy like Cal that can throw the ball, so they're going to see it, and then and then y'all's little passing halls and stuff like that. So I know you want to give a big shout out to the secondary because what they're doing out there trying to hold teams
Yeah,
down.
and we're not. I think Coach Miller and Coach Johnson on defense side of the ball do a great job getting them ready week to week, and we're not just great size, on the outside in the secondary or at safety or anything like that. And so um, we are definitely prepared and definitely bring a sense of physicality when it goes there. And then week to week, you just got to adjust. Some
Yes,
game,
sir.
like you said, quick game, deep game, anything like that. We did get Brody Byers back. He's a senior safety, plays some receiver. He had a big catch Friday night, and then he brings the boomstick when he comes down into the box, and so he's another kid that we're pretty excited about getting back to being 100% healthy. He had a fracture down there in his foot, and he missed 3 or 4 games, and
Oh
so
yeah,
he came back this Friday, and I was
you see the
excited about
difference,
how
huh?
well he played.
Well, coach, it's always good, when you got those guys and you got you have him out and you got some of the backups getting, then they're getting game experience. So if somebody does go down or have to have a break, you got these guys that have game experience, so they get in the games now. You're talking about young guys, coach. You're talking about a bunch of young. I mean, your whole backfield comes back next year when Brock and Kyle. So I
And our
tell you
whole
right now,
offensive line as well. I mean,
man.
like I said, this is like I said, we're just getting started. We're about 5 games through with just a lot of these kids, and so they like I said, going to be a special group, and like I said, I'm excited about playing some of the big teams in the
Yes,
district,
sir.
and I think climbing the mountain over, hey, if we go play well, I think we play with anybody. But you got to start out strong, and you got to believe in yourself. We have, like I said, Chickasha at home, and then we host for the fall break game, Bethany, and so. That'll be a big test. We'll
It's a big
see. Like I
test right
said, we
there,
got we
coach.
have a good week of practice and go take care of Chickasha, and then we have, like I said, Bethany at home.
No, that's big. That's big time. Coach, seems like these guys are on the right path. I know we did the media day earlier. We got a chance to talk, but now we're in the real deal. Past the pill. These guys got to get after because I know a lot of these guys are so excited. When we talked to me, you knocked off McLeod. You got the trophy that you got to bring home and keep at the house. Something that you kind of started this year, which is to me, I think it's outstanding. Pass the trophy back between McLeod and you guys, but seems like you guys got it turned on right now. Like I said, the Seminole game could have went either way. The Blanchard kind of jumped on you. I think you had some turnovers, some things that happened that way, but that's where the ball bounces at times, coach. But I tell you right now, you can kind of be like Dion, we coming. And then, the thing about it, some of these teams might get you this year, but I tell you next year, when you got everybody coming back, it's going to be a
Oh yeah, and like I said, we're not like I said, man, it's these guys, if they get it rolling
yes,
and
sir.
the plays keep happening and stuff like that, I still think that we're good enough on any night to make it happen. And I still think our best football hasn't been played.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen us play a complete game, 4 quarters, start to finish yet. And so, like I said, our kids are young. They're learning, kind of navigating some of the noise and some of the challenges with the injuries and those dynamics. And as they get better with that, then I think you're going to see us put together 3 quarters, 4 quarters, or give ourselves a chance in in uh, in the middle of some of these games, and so just can't wait. Like I said, the whole offensive line will be back. They're doing a good job, and then like I said, once we get healthy, I think that's kind of going to be. Hopefully, we can click on all cylinders too with that. So, but right now we got Chickasha this week, homecoming. Hopefully, you check back in. We can get a big win, and hopefully, uh, everybody can stay healthy, and we can get a guys that make a few big plays.
Well, coach, you talked about, I know you got to go. I know Sunday, did you guys start your game plan on Sunday? Or y'all go first thing Monday morning?
We go Saturday and Sunday, so
That's what I'm talking about.
we
Coach
uh
said, hey,
we
we
really
work
take
7 days.
care of we finish up, we break down us and kind of make all of our notes and adjustments on Saturday for us and the previous week, and then Sunday is a big game planning week for Chickasha.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got all the stats out, putting those all together, making sure we've got our MVP for the week, all those type of things, and then practicing out the schedule week on that Saturday and making sure we just know where we want to attack and get better at. And then Sunday, we're looking at Chickasha, offensive tendencies, formations, defensive pressures, all those type of things, just seeing how we want to attack them. And then then we visit with the kids. That's the thing about Cal and Brock and some of these guys. I mean, it's not a this is my way or the highway. This is how we're going to strategically attack a football team on both sides of the ball. What do you feel the most comfortable, kind of underneath that umbrella of ideas and things and stuff like that? So that's been fun because I think they're super locked in. A lot of our kids are, and they've been around me and our program long enough to know kind of where we're coming in each week and what we'd like to do. But they're also intelligent enough to be able to have some conversations about, hey, if this isn't working, or if this is complicated, or if we feel most comfortable doing this, then let's do it. Our coaches too. We there's some tough conversations about what we'd like to do, what we think we should do, and what we end up doing, right? And so that's a typical weekend for us. And so again, the weekend goes a lot better after a big win, though, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a big win against the Cubs. Before I let you go, though, Mr. Quinn, I mean, I know he's just a junior, right, Coach?
Yeah, yeah. So he didn't play last week. He had an ankle injury. Early in the season, though, I think he's got 4 or 5 touchdown receptions. Like I said, he's 6'5", 200.
Yes, sir.
He plays both sides of the ball, doesn't come off the field very much. We're hopeful that he's back this week. I'll kind of evaluate that on Monday and Tuesday and see where he's at and see where we can get him. If I had to bet, I bet he shoots up and plays. If it's not both sides of the ball, at least one side of the ball. But he's dynamic. I mean, I've been super impressed with him this year. He ability to block and play within the tackles is something that we wanted him to really own going into this year, and he's done a phenomenal job there. We know he can catch the ball. We know he's skillful. He can play in space and stuff like that. But he's another kid, and if you ask Cal probably wants him back too. He's a big target for Cal.
Yeah, like you said, 6'6", 205, Coach. But like I said, his recruiting, how's it going? I know Tulsa's had him come up a few times and come check them out. Do you think that's a school that's really going to try to hit on him? Because, I mean, Tulsa kind of got it going on. I can see North Texas. This type of guy, he's the type of guy that, he's playing tight end, outside linebacker, but he's the type of guy you put, 40 some pounds back on him, he can move into, an offensive lineman, and I mean, they like him that size. So, but, how's his recruiting going? Because he is a big time target.
Yeah, Tulsa's definitely been on him. He's been up there a few times. He's looking at some of the other small D1s. I think that as he kind of finishes up this season strong and then gets into the spring and hits up that circuit and some of those camps, that he's going to blow up. I mean, like I said, he knows he can catch, and I think that's a dynamic of his that he can show you in person. Where they're going to pull up the film and really evaluate him hard is how he's playing in the trenches.
Yes, sir.
Is he going to go and run ISO at the inside backer? Can he block down a 5 tech? And then like you said, his potential is tied to his ability to get physically ready, right? And so he's 200 pounds right now, but I think me, you, and everybody else knows he could get to 235, 240 in a heartbeat, just given some of those resources and dedication to that side of the game, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Coach, I ain't going to hold you up. I know you got practice, man. Thank you for coming on. Keep 100 Oklahoma High School Sports, man. You're always a pleasure to have you all. It's always good to talk to you because you keep it 100. And like I said, I know you love what you do, man. And that's what's all about. When you get a coach on here that loves his players like he loves himself and his family, that's what it's all about. And these guys are going to do everything they can. And I know you're going to do everything you can to get these guys in the, prepared for this week. I said, big game against Chickasha homecoming. Then you got another big game going against Bethany. So let's just keep it rocking and rolling, Coach. Like I said, let's win this week and let's win next week. And then, hey, we're looking good. We're looking good.
Absolutely. Remember, we still got to get you out for a game. So
yes, sir.
Look at the schedule, and you're always welcome. Like I said, on the sideline. Like I said, I know Cal and Brock, some of those guys you get a chance to work with would appreciate that, and you're always welcome at Hera.
Oh, man, I love it, man. I love what you're doing out there, man. Like I said, what you've done with these guys in the last few years, man, it's outstanding. I mean, I think this team in the years to come, man, these kids are buying into Hera football, and that's what you want. You don't want them thinking they got to pack up and go somewhere else because, I mean, home is home, and like I said, you see these kids leave all the time, and sometimes the grass is not always green on the other side. I try to tell people that all the time. You never know who else is moving in. You might be moving, and another kid may be moving too. And guess what? Y'all playing the same position because coach is going to coach. Whatever I can do to make my team better and take from the other pot, I'm going to do it. But like I said, keep doing your thing, coach. And like I said, we'll catch you next on Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports.
Appreciate you, Tony. See you guys.
Appreciate you, brother. Good luck to you this Friday night. See you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Coach, that's Coach Blink, man, the outstanding coach over there at Hara football, man. Has been there for about 5 or 6 years now, and he's got it rocking and rolling. As you can see, we at the Hara field, folks. That's what we do. We go to your field and drop the show, But, hey, I got to get back on my field, though, because this was all about right here. My field, because why? Everybody is trying to play to get to the state championship because it's all going to be played at UCO. I don't know the days yet. When I get the days, I'll drop that. But, hey, this is what you're doing. You're trying to get that gold ball sitting next to me. You got your helmet on the back of my fireplace. I ain't got the fireplace going yet. So it's still kind of warm outside, but I love it when I put the fireplace on, then I can put your color of your school on behind me. But like I said, I'm really appreciate Coach Blink coming on with me and doing the show, man. I love it, man. When you can have, I tell people all the time, if you look at Blink, you think he's one of the players because he looks so young, but he's feisty. He gets after it, man, and these kids love him. And what he's doing, man, with a sophomore quarterback, Cal, coming in and Brock, I've seen the difference in these young men, and it's funny, and it's not that because, hey, they come and work out me because they put the workout on their own too, but just the things they're doing out there, working hard, and trying to get better because some kids settle. I'm good, but, hey, let's get better. And that's what these two young men are doing. They're doing the work. You see it week in and week out. They're coming, and if it's not throwing the ball, doing jump cuts, doing ladders or whatever we got to do in the sandbox. The sandbox, they'll tell you every time it gets them. It gets them. But, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about some of the big games this week, and then we're going to end the show. Love it. I love it. I'm by myself. Coach Blink is out with Coach Vic is out with his family today. Big shout out to my granddaughter. Ivy Jones turned 6. Had a birthday party. Everybody got to dress up. Good time. Had all my family in. Had my grandson in. Had my daughter and son-in-law in. So it's always good. And I got all my. I'm shutting out my. There it is. I got all my kids under the one roof. They got to come over. I'm looking to see for his podcast. Coach Love put something together with him. Looking for it to come out. If not, I'm going to drop some of Gabe. His last year in college, so I'd like to have him on. High school girls basketball started, folks. So, you can always catch us on our other show, Oklahoma Between the Lines. Oklahoma High School girls basketball starting to heat up. Basketball's practice started. I know this is Keep It 100, but I still can talk girls basketball here because, hey, it's my show. Both. So I love it. But like I said, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after one of our sponsors.
Right. Tired of going out to your trash can, having to smell so bad? Well, no further. Call Spiffy Cans. He cleans, disinfects, sanitizes. 405-423-8824 or go to spiffycansok.com. Spiffy Cans, he's your man.
Spiffy Can, he's your man. Welcome back to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. I don't know which one my laptop is giving me a little fits, but we're going to talk about some of the big games coming up this week. But like I said, I can't get that to come up. But one thing I want to say, I want to thank everybody for catching another great episode of Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. And like I said, we're doing a good job, on both shows. But like I said, I love for everybody to always like and subscribe to the show, and give us feedback. I love it. On my girls' show, I do get a lot of feedbacks. People, giving us thumbs up, telling us what they want. And like I said, if there's a young man or a player out there that you want, I think I'm going to have my man DJ from over as a sophomore come on here in a few weeks. And I got my man Rice from Duncan. So I got some kids lined up. But like I said, if there's somebody out there that you guys know that's balling out and doing this thing, let us know. We'd love to bring him on the show and talk high school football. There's a coach. If there's a coach you want to come on and talk about your season. I know Douglas has done some good things. They lost the last 2, but Coach Turner has got some wins, before these guys wasn't winning, but he's turning around. But folks, like I said, we love what we do here at Keep 100. I still got Ethan and Robert Jones. I have them on this week. We got a big game coming this week with OU versus Texas. Oklahoma State still struggling. Right now, they lost their head coach, their defense coordinator. Big shout out to my man LaDainian, his first INT in the secondary, pick 6. Young man, I got to get to watch him play when he's at Dell City. Well, folks, I think I might have got it back up. Give me one. I'm gonna take another quick break real quick, and I'll be right back. I'm sorry. It's what happens when it's just you sometimes, man. You got to figure all this stuff out. But I'll be right back after one of our sponsors again, and I'm gonna see if I can get these top games of the week and then get them in so we can talk about them real quick. All right, welcome back to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Like I said, on this Sunday afternoon, we're gonna go over some of the top games of the week, and then we'll close it out, folks. Like I said, some of the big games coming up this in week 6. You're gonna have in the 6A, you got Mustang versus Jinx. Jinx is coming off that loss, but they came back and got a win over Norman. Mustang, like I said, I don't know if O'Neill's back or not, but they got it rocking and rolling. Only got one loss, so somebody that's playing QB over there is getting the job done. Then you got, I think, a big game. My man DJ is playing big time ball over there at Southmore. They'll be taking on Choctaw. Choctaw's coming off a tough loss against PC. Don't want to drop another one in district that'll put them right down to third in district. And you start doing third in district, it means you have to face Stillwater. Sand Springs is tough on the other side. So that'll be a tough game with Choctaw versus Southmore. And then you got Carl Albert and Noble. Carl Albert should get the win, but Noble's always going to be a tough team. That's going to Carl Albert's back at home, so you'll see them, the Titans back at home. So you got that. Then you drop down to 4A. You got Tuttle versus Bethany. Should be a good game. Tuttle's going to probably take care of business with my man Cruz, always cruising in. That'd be a good game. Then you got Ada versus Hisdale. And then you got Heritage Hall versus Kingfisher. Should be another big, tough game. But like I said, those are some of the top games that we got going this week. Then you got Ada versus Kansas, and then Kingston versus Bethel. My man, Coach Glenn, again over there trying to do his thing at Bethel. Still trying to stay on the winning streak. But like I said, folks, we really appreciate you tuning in and keeping 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Great speaker today with Coach Blink, Harris head football coach. Always does a good job when I get a chance to get on with him, man. A great guy to talk to. Love to talk high school football to him. But folks, you know what time it is. I hate to go, but we got to go. We got to take it to the next spot, So when you hear that music, you know what time it is. Folks, we appreciate you always tune it in and keep it 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. But we do everything 100. Like I said, if there's a young man or even a woman or just a player that wants to get on the show, let me know and we'll get them on the show. Because that's what we do. We keep it 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. I ask all the young men to be safe, careful, stay fluid up. If the weather starts to change, get ready for it. We'll catch you next time on Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. See ya.